Hi guys, Shodes here, giving you another commentary video, this time on Ashe. Ashe is an unconventional support which has been seeing a lot of play recently in solo queue. I rate her pretty high up in my tier list, and I feel like a lot of people don't understand how to utilize her kit well, so I wanted to do a commentary on her. I'm thinking of doing an in-depth guide on her later down the line, but I'm going to start with the commentary. Here are the runes I'm running for this game. Generally, you'll either go Comet or Hail of Blades depending on the 2v2 matchup. In matchups where you don't win against all-ins, playing against hook champs or against champions like Draven, Comet is better because you can just perma-poke them. In matchups where you do win all-ins, Hail of Blades is a lot better. In the bot lane, we are Misfortune and Ashe, which I think is currently a very strong duo lane. Misfortune's E and Ashe's W make it so it's super hard for the enemy to do anything in lane. I actually really like playing Ashe support into Draven because the slow from your W makes it difficult for him to get close and auto you. If I'm playing blue side, level 1, I generally like to get a ward at the enemy blue buff. Usually if the enemy is playing the map correctly, they will see you as you are walking up the river, and in this case, that's what happened. I like playing with Sweeper level 1 for bush control, so I drop my ward in the bush before I recall. As I walk back, my ward sees both of the enemy bot lane pathing from the river. I wait till Gragas and Draven are in range for my W so I can hit them both. My goal right now is to push in the wave so I can hit level 2 before the enemy. If you are ranged support against an enemy melee engaged support, you should always be looking to do this because you always win level 1. If the enemy melee support attacks the minion, you need to punish them with your range. As the second wave crashes, I'm looking for an angle to hit my W. I thought this angle would have clipped Gragas, but it hits the minions, so I back up. I'm still hitting the wave to ensure our level 2. Gragas knows that after the 2 melee minions die, we will hit level 2, so he backs up. I walk up because I know I'll win any trade at this point, and when they run out of range, I put a point into Hawkshot and shoot it to the enemy red to track the jungler. We see that the enemy's blue side camps are still up, and the red side camps are down, so we can assume that Fiddle is going to path down. I make a mental note that we have a window to be super aggressive because we will not get ganked. I was actually under the assumption that Fiddle started blue because Gragas and Draven walked to lane late, so this was a great Hawkshot. I find a sneaky angle here to hit my W, and at this point Draven and Gragas are very low. Our wave is setting up to be 1.5 waves worth of minions, and I know one of two things are going to happen. Lee Sin comes after red and we either dive them or invade Fiddle in his jungle. We're able to make this play because we set up a big wave to crash on the enemy and they are low. MF and I have priority to move because we have pushed in the enemy wave and don't lose anything if we rotate. The enemy, on the other hand, gets punished if they move because they will lose all the minions at their tower. A big part of reaching higher ranks as support is knowing how to set up waves and how to utilize them. You start to see supports pick up this type of macro play at around Masters/Grandmaster tier. As we are pushing in the wave, I'm mainly looking at where Lee Sin is pathing. When I see the enemy blue and Gromp are gone, I was under the assumption that Fiddle left his bot side and we were going to dive. I was going to walk up to look to dive, but Lee Sin pings for help, so we rotate over to him in the river. All of my lanes have priority to move, so we all come down and it becomes a 3v4 because like every solo queue player, Draven opted to catch the wave instead of helping his team. The exchange ends up being a 3-for-1 for us, which is an amazing way to start the game. This is a great demonstration of why priority is so important in lane and what advantages it can lead to. Also, it showcases how useful Hawkshot is and how you can use the information to make winning plays. As I back, I take a look at our wave state to make a mental note of how our lane is going to be. Quick note, this wave state is always the beginning of a slow push. A slow pushed wave will have more than one wave crashing at the enemy's tower, and like the play that just happened, you can do a lot with it. As I'm walking back, I also check the scoreboard to see who's strong and who has what items. As I get to lane, I hawkshot the enemy red side because I wanted to see where Fiddle went after he respawned. We end up taking a very big trade with the enemy bot, which is amazing for us because the wave is setting up so we can dive the enemy. Generally, if the enemy is slow pushing a big wave to you, you do not want to take any trades because you will most likely get dove once the wave crashes to you. Like a good jungler, Lee Sin plays the wave state perfectly and comes to gank. Once my hawkshot is up, I shoot it at wolves because I know from the hawkshot before Fiddle cleared his raptors, so I wanted to see if he pathed there. After seeing his wolves up, I thought he would be at our blue side because he did not show at Krugs on the first hawkshot. At this point in the game, everyone on my team is fed. I'm subscribed to the idea that if your team is super fed, you can just play lane super safe and you will win the game. Ideally, you don't take any unnecessary trades and you would only fight at objectives. This way, the enemy has no opportunities to gain a lead anywhere. But it's solo queue, so that never happens. When I get into lane, the enemy wave bounced back and is now slow pushing towards us. Again, you don't want to take trades when there's a big enemy wave in case the enemy tries to dive you. The enemy puts a pink in try and clears our pink. This is one of those situations that I was talking about earlier, how I can try to defend this pink, but it's really risky and I'd rather be risk averse when I'm ahead. We let it go and we're waiting for a wave to bounce back. Lee gets a double kill mid lane, so I make a mental note that we can't get ganked at this time. I walk up as soon as Misfortune throws out her E. I should be playing a bit more up in this case, but I always forget how much range her E has. As we push in the wave, I go ahead and clear the pinks in the river and try. A very common mistake I see a lot of support players make is that they will ward or deward the river at random times. The most ideal time to move in the river is when you push the enemy minions to the tower. This way you don't lose anything and your ADC won't be left alone in a bad wave state. After I clear the pinks, I want to put a ward in the enemy jungle. The spot I put this ward is one of the best places you can have if you're on blue side, as it covers both jungle routes of entry through river and lane. I hawkshot red as I do this to see where Fiddle is. Because I know we can't get ganked, I apply a lot of pressure in lane. My goal now is to perma push the minions and to get a lot of plates. As the minions are coming, I am autoing so we can clear the wave and attack the turret faster. At this point, even though Swain ping mid was MIA, I thought we would be okay because I did not see Draven in lane. Looking back, we definitely should have backed because Misfortune had no mana. We end up trading 2 for 1, but Misfortune had a shutdown, so it was not worth. This is the type of trades that aren't too bad, but it would be better if we were just net neutral, because now it gives the enemy more gold to make potential plays. As I back, I get CDR boots and a Serrated Dirk because I want to build Umbral Glaive. I think Umbral Glaive is the best support item in the game, and it definitely makes champs that can utilize it become a higher tier just by that. Once I get back into lane, I see Fiddle clearing Gromp, so I put a ward in the Dragon Pit. Once I see the enemy vision cone being procced, I know that Gragas is the one that hit it, because Yone is mid, we just saw Fiddle, and we saw Draven in lane. I thought Fiddle would go through lane to set up a gank through the bushes, so I shoot my hawkshot to see. I was pretty sure we were going to get ganked through try because we didn't see anyone and Yone left mid as well, so I play back and shoot my other hawkshot up to check. We see them and we were able to avoid the dive. Misfortune has a great flash here and we were able to kill Yone as our team rotated down. I see Swain and Lee Sin both coming down, so we try to chase the enemy and slow them, but they are too fast. Lee Sin ripped Heralds, and Swain is still looking to pick anyone that stayed, but no one does. We shove in the wave so Herald can hit the tower faster. After we get the first tower, I was trying to shove the next wave so Shelly could get another hit on the tier 2 tower. Like most supports, I overstay a bit because I was greeting my support stacks and end up having to flash over the wall. After seeing Fiddle mid, I know where everyone is on the map, so with Lee Sin, I sweep the blue side jungle. I hug the wall here in case Fiddle pathed towards his blue. I didn't want to use Hawkshot immediately because he would probably back away if he saw it. Instead, if he did path, I'd be able to see the silhouette of his character and Lee and I could have picked him. We end up looking for a pick bot instead. Anyways, now that Lee Sin died, we can't do dragon, so I just go back. I see that Misfortune's about to get a plate, so I walk away because I want her to have all of the gold. Since I saw pretty much everyone top, I know dragon is free, so I use this time to ward all of their bot side jungle. I was trying to bait Gragas to go in on me, and he does, but Yone finds an angle on Misfortune. We end up trading 1 for 1, but Lee wants to try to kill Yone. I'm pretty low and a bit far from Lee, so I thought it would be better to stall Fiddle by slowing him. Lee Sin dies because Draven is there, so I back off. At this point in the game, there isn't much I can really do. I dropped all of my wards, there's no objectives that's going to spawn anytime soon, and I just came back from a recall, so I don't have a lot of gold. I think the only thing I can do currently is to catch the minions mid because no one is there. As Misfortune comes back to lane, I recall to refresh my wards and to buy heal cut. Generally, I will go Umbral first on Ashe, and then for the second item, I usually go whatever our team needs. Sometimes that's Executioner's Calling or Serpent's Fang. If you don't need any of those items, I generally will go Mandate. Quick note, if you do go Mandate, make sure to build the Kindle Gem portion first. Usually this is a really bad play, but I throw out a Randy ult mid to try to hit Draven, but it misses. I think when you have level 3 R, the cooldown combined with all the ability haste makes it okay to throw out random ults like this, but doing it early is kinda grief, so don't do this. I want to give my ADC and jungler the plates, so instead of going mid, I look for a gank bot. I run into him in the river and I kite him. I play pretty aggressive here because I have exhaust and I know my team is near me. At this point, if I didn't randomly ult mid, I would have been able to ult Renekton here, but I did that so we don't catch him. At this point in the game, I pretty much want to set my wards up so that we can take over their entire blue side jungle. I do this by placing deep wards and permanently clearing all vision in their jungle because of Umbral. I know there's a ward at the wall and they see me walking towards it, so I bait out the Gragas ult. At this point, my Umbral and Sweeper are on cooldown, so I want to back to refresh my wards. I know Herald is spawning soon, so I'm going to start shifting the vision over to their topside jungle. I actually stopped my recall here because I didn't want to back to just buy a longsword, and I was afraid the enemy team might do it on spawn. We have Prio from both lanes, so I'm not afraid to rotate over. I hit the vision cone to look for Fiddle, and we see him near his red. Because he is tagged, he will not have a chance to ult. A really quick tip of securing Herald. Herald actually now gives local gold like turret plating, so when the Herald is close to dying, I usually walk away so my team can share it. Walking back to lane, I'm checking the scoreboard to see the game state. Drake is spawning in about 1:30, so I want to look to refresh wards in their jungle a little before my wards expire. I heavily hug the bottom side of the map because everything on that side is warded, so I'll know if someone is walking towards me. Fiddle tries to force a flash gank on me, but I have flash and exhaust, so I'm okay. As their team runs away, I immediately throw out an E to get more vision of them. I know after this fight they used a lot of key abilities, so I use my ult to catch out Gragas. After we kill him, we want to push in the wave because Dragon has not spawned yet. My goal is to zone them out of their jungle, but I step a little too far forward and end up dying to Yone. I ping to my team that Dragon is going to spawn in 15 seconds to remind them. I spawn at the same time as Dragon, so Lee and I path to it. I angle the vision cone to hit the area near our river entrance because I'm a little scared that the enemy could be sitting there. Once I see Renekton top, Gragas mid, and Yone bot, I know that they're going to give up this dragon. I don't want to put any wards near the dragon or river because I know we're going to be sieging their base after this, and I want to set up aggressive wards. I tunnel a bit too hard here and get caught by Yone because I thought I would be fine, but I die here. I should have waited a second for Lee to catch up before I went to set up my wards. Baron is spawning in a minute 30, and so now my goal is to set up vision on that side of the map. Renekton overextends here, so we walk up and pick him. Like near Dragon Pit, I use this vision plant to clear the area at their jungle entrance so I can check to see if anyone is sitting in a bush. Walking with Lee Sin, we clear the enemy jungle for all the wards. I noticed that I had 2 stacks on my E, so I throw it out. If you are playing Ashe, you should never have 2 stacks sitting on your E. Make sure to utilize it to its fullest. We see Fiddle bot side, so I want to put a ward at this bush so he has no angle to ult in. Fiddle is pretty much blocked out of his jungle, but their support is taking back vision in the topside jungle, so I rotate over. I hawkshot the only place that the enemy can be and find Gragas and Draven rotating. I also see that Renekton is bot and Fiddle is probably heading over from resetting. My goal here is to deny all the enemy vision in their jungle and to put very aggressive wards. In doing so, I create a lot of pressure because the enemy knows that we can do Baron and they have to check through every bush to see if we are on it. I on the way ping to let my team know I want to throw out my ult and I hit Fiddle, but Draven, Gragas, and Yone showed up right as Lee goes in. We take a 2-for-2 trade and then I'm looking to push in the wave so we can siege. Renekton looks to fight so I have to flash away, but we end up killing him. Our minions are walking to the turret, so in the downtime I look to clear their jungle out again. Once we siege, I see that my ult is almost up, so I want to try to hit Draven, but he dodges it with his W. As he catches his axe, he flashes on me and then I die. I have a bad habit of dying to people flashing on me as Ashe because she has no movement speed. At this point, the game is pretty much won for us. We can constantly take over and deny the enemy jungle camps and we win any 5v5. Now, we just need to play the objectives and we will win. Once I get back to lane, I throw out an E to look for the enemy. Ashe's hawkshot is very broken because you can leverage the information you get before objective fights to set up for your team. The enemy pretty much can never ambush you if you throw out your hawkshot at crucial times. We're a little early, so we clear out the jungle and wait. Normally you would want to push out mid as you wait for an objective, but that was already done and Yasuo is walking to lane. The enemy team gives up dragon and uses the time to establish vision on Baron, which is the correct play. I start to path over to try to start denying vision because I know Lee Sin is going to secure the dragon. I had a feeling Fiddle was looking for an ult because he disappeared, so I throw out a hawkshot and find him. It's actually impossible for Fiddlesticks to play into Ashe because hawkshot denies any single angle for him to look. Lee Sin wants to take the enemy's red that's about to spawn, so 4 of us all rotate in the jungle. As we are there, I try to set up for a very aggressive ward setup like last time. Lee gets a pretty crazy kick and we pick off Draven, but I get cut off and ganked by Fiddle and Gragas. I end up dying, but we end up winning the fight while Yasuo splits, so we win out. After this point, we want to get Baron and end the game. Their Draven ends up rage splitting mid, dying, and then we have this random fight mid that we win, and then they surrender. I hope this Ashe commentary showed you how to play Ashe and how to think as a support as you are playing. You always want to be working towards a goal at every point of the match, and knowing what that is will make you a better player. With these commentaries, I want to explain my thoughts for every action that I do to expose you guys to certain concepts, and to make you think about what you need to do at different moments of the game. As always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys later.